Hey, what's going on guys? My name's Anthony or Big B Stats and welcome back to another Hytale video for you guys here today. And today I'm going to be going over how the World Gen works. They released a blog post about the whole World Gen. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing my opinions, going over it and informing you guys on how exactly it's going to work. Also, if you can, drop the video, like, and share it. It is much appreciated and shows your support for the channel. So there will be a lot to cover in today's video. So make sure you grab yourself a coffee or a glass of water, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So Hytale, of course, created by the Hypixel team. If you ever play any of the Hypixel servers on Minecraft, this is the team that created this brand new game, Hytale, which is going to be coming out. I'll be showing some videos down below in the description along with the blog post as well, but I'm going to be going over everything that's in the blog post now. So they released this, the Hytale team, about the World Gen introduction, because, you know, the trailer was released. The trailer was just fantastic. I gotta admit, it was just like the right amount to show, but not too much to show. So, Hypixel, if you're watching this, great job on the trailer. Amazing on Hytale team. Awesome. But let's talk about the Hytale, the World Gen, how it's going to be. So the Hytale's World Generation system in itself is kind of broken up into zones. So what we're going to do now is talk about the world of Orbis, which the world of Orbis is the world. Like, this is where the zones are. So you have different zones. And here's a picture of 4 zones that they have, I believe, out of 7. So you have Zone 1, which kind of looks like a little forest area as well. So it's like each one has different biomes too, but they're all kind of like, again, intertwined, I guess, in a way. Like, you can kind of like, you know, they kind of flow together, which makes it look amazing, if you ask me. Also, with this image and these zones, you can also see how the underground bit kind of works as well. So you can see like the cave system, and you can see every single one is different. Now, I'm assuming the zones, as they go up, like further and further, of course, they get harder. Remember, Hytale does have an adventure mode. So again, this is how you progress the main story. This is the main story is like the adventure mode, but of course you can go, you know, you can play it without having the adventure part, like beyond that. But yeah, this is the main bit of it. So if you get, just in case you're wondering, you know, is it a game that you can just hop in and just do whatever you want? I believe there is I don't know if there's a point in time when you can do that, or if you can just straight do that. I'm sure they give you the option to just straight do that. And if you want to do the adventure, you can also do the adventure. But seeing all the caves and dungeons of this is just awesome. And if you look at Zone 4, looks completely different from Zone 1. So I would definitely say that they did a great job designing these dungeons and cave systems underground. It makes it just really exciting to see this concept art and to see exactly how it's going to work. It looks like there's just a lot of things to look at, a lot of good things to experience, and also a lot of danger in itself as well. So let's talk about one of the zones. So what we're going to do is look at Zone 1 as well, which is filled with forests, lakes, hills, ravines, and such things like that. Now again, with the World Gen system, it ties them together, so you won't even really be able to kind of tell. So it looks super good, and again, like, the colors of it look awesome. There's nothing really bad I can say about how it's really presented, or, you know, on how it's, you know, on how it looks. It looks colorful, it looks nice, it looks vibrant, and I think that, you know, this is gonna be awesome. Like, look at the orange trees you got there. Like, there's also some prefabs there, which we'll cover as well, if you can see in this image. So there's a lot of things here, and it just looks awesome. I gotta admit, like, it looks very good. And then if we take a look at, you know, some other zones, like some of the icy bits as well, and even from the trailer, we saw that these zones may have bosses too. Well, at least I know there was that ice kind of boss, so I'm assuming that there was a boss at the end of that zone. I mean, it would be cool, like, after to advance kind of to each zone, you kind of have to fight and go through that and, like, you know, defeat that boss and kind of move on. But the cool thing about this is that each zone has its own furniture set. So, you know, Zone 1 has its own furniture set. Zone 2 has its own furniture set. So that means, like, you can build, of course, different things out of other things. It also has, you know, different NPC races, also different creatures, different bugs. Weather's different. Plant life is also different as well. And again, exploring each, like, cave in these places will be completely different. So do bear that in mind, that nothing is really going to be the same, which makes it good for replay value. Like, I think one of the coolest things about replay value is that, you know, things aren't really, you know, the same. Like, if you take, for instance, this is a side topic, but just like, let's say, Battle Royale, where you're playing with a bunch of people, or even just games like Bed Wars or anything like that, where people are involved and things are different. you know, it has a lot of replay value because there's nothing that's kind of like set rules. Like everyone's different, so everyone will always play different almost each game. Things will sometimes be the same, but overall things will be different. So I think it's gonna have some really good replay value, hopefully. And they also have like coastal areas and deep ocean, which is also cool. And it says zones have different coastal features, including specific biomes for the shoreline. Now that's important too. So each shoreline, again, will have a different biome. So like, let's say in zone 3, you have this mountainous coast here. And if we take a look at another zone, you have, you know, a completely different one. So Zone 2, like the sands, you can see is just completely different. So you get that new feeling for each time you kind of go to the shoreline, especially in each zone that you go to. So again, nothing really seems to be the same, and nothing really seems to be repetitive as well. I think even if you were to beat the adventure mode and you were to go back and play the adventure mode again, it would be completely different. So do bear that in mind too. But this is exciting, seeing all these images and seeing, you know, it's finally coming together. And again, hopefully the next few videos we'll be talking about, you know, release dates or you know, that stuff, but that will be a while. I'm still patient. But yeah, here we go. So they also have some more unique world gen elements that also, you know, continue on even when you go under the water. So when you go into the water, it doesn't really stop there. You can go even further. So I believe they have something that you call the ocean shelf, which is actually a sudden drop off at the edge of each zone that leads you to the deep ocean. So you can actually go to the deep ocean, which is very, very dangerous. And it's also a zone all by itself. So it's not one of the zones. It's just, it's its own zone called the deep ocean. Super dangerous, but it also has its rewards. So that's also something super cool and kind of gives, you know, the player that feel of, if I really want to up it up a notch, I can go down into this deep ocean and see if I have what it takes to, you know, take out these dangers and get these rewards. I think it's amazing. The way it sounds, I think you definitely maybe want to level up before you do that. But overall, I mean, if you want to risk it, go risk it. I mean, you got to have fun. You got to take some risk. No risk, no reward. So you can go into that deep ocean. And it says also beyond the ocean is also the infinite lands. And it also says Hytale storyline won't take you out that far. So again, if you're playing the storyline, it won't take you out to the infinite lands, but it says with the world gen tech, it will make sure that it's always something for you to find beyond the edges of the world. So again, there's always going to be something to do beyond the edges of the world. So don't feel like, you know, once you get to the edge of the world, there's like nothing else to do but be on your own. There's always something to do. So that's something to kind of, you know, take a note of and pay attention to and just kind of remember when this comes out. So let's talk about the caves and dungeons, because I really like the way the caves and dungeons looked. And also on the side note, the way they did underwater looks really good, like extremely good. The way the water looks, the way the colors look. Again, I think the colors is something that really kind of captures my eyes a lot. It's just really good. So yeah, caves and dungeons. Let's go ahead and talk about these. Of course, they're going to be different in each zone. So none of the caves and dungeons are the same, but it also says there's a few universal principles that govern each. So there's going to be some set rules to it there. But I like the way they had like the little skeleton things up here, also like the barrels and stuff like that. It looks like really crazy too. And it says caves are full of secrets and creatures to encounter, but it's an important source of resources. So just like any other cave, you know, these caves are dangerous, and with any kind of danger in these games, again, it always comes rewards. You know, when you go into, let's say for an example, to throw in like Minecraft, you go into, you know, these dungeons and you get, you know, you get loot there, So it's kind of like, you know, like that as well. So that's something very cool. And again, the rules differ, you know, based on from zone to zone. So dungeons are a little different from caves as well. So do bear in mind, dungeons and caves are not the same. It says dungeons compressed of like multiple chambers and encounters joined by connecting passageways. So it says often accumulating into a final room. So you will have this final room, and it will have challenges as well and special rewards tailored by the world team. So there's a massive image of how you know, the cave system kind of works, and yeah, it looks incredible. I gotta admit, like the terrain and just the whole world generation and how you can see underground, like and you know, all this, it's awesome. Like there's a lot to do. I mean, this is massive. I mean, it's a lot, you guys, but a lot I'm looking forward to exploring, and I think it's going to be incredible to play, and it's going to feel fresh, and it's going to feel good to also play as well. They also, again, have some prefabs here too. So it says dungeons are just one example of how prefabricated content is incorporated into Hytale's world generation. So I don't know if you've seen the trailer, that like there was some already built buildings and things like that, but the crazy thing is that they've already created over 3,785 prefabs so far, which is just like, what? And it varies from a lot of things like the trees, the rock faces, and things like ruins, the rock faces all the way up to the ruins, buildings, and some special encounters as well. And of course, this is also distributed out, throughout the world, at random times. So it may be a case where you see, something one time, like you won't always see it again. Again, that's where the repetitiveness isn't really there, which is good, like as far as seeing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, it could be again that you may see, one feature one time and then you never see it again. And remember that each prefab is custom built. So there you go. It's amazing. And also the cool thing about it is that, for the not only does it look good, but they can have like their own triggers and events, kind of attached to that particular thing. So that's awesome too. I can't imagine like how much work that is to actually do that. Could be that is something simple, but that's a lot of work, and I think that's something very cool that they kind of took into consideration and mind. But we're going to talk about some of the portal dungeons, which is one of the cool things that I think that really interests me when it comes to this. So what we're looking at now is kind of like the as you can see, like the little concept art of I think the Guyane portal. So it looks like the portal, you go down and then you go into like the portal room there. So that's like the entrance to the portal dungeon. So it says, of course, when you meet the criteria to unlock one. So remember, you have to be able to kind of unlock one. Which is awesome. Also, another note that they added too is that, you won't be able to break every block like inside of these portal dungeons. So you'll have challenges and things like that to kind of overcome, to see if you can actually get to this. So you have to, do some obstacles and use other skills other than just breaking blocks and kind of getting there. So do bear that in mind. Also, there's a lot of different portal interests, designs that they also have, like concept art. So it's not going to always look the same as well. So here's a picture of some concept art of how the portals look, and wow, I gotta admit, they look really good. Like that's awesome. I definitely like the one down in the water for me, like the center one, also the purple one as well. So finding these dungeons is also gonna feel like a new thing too, like being that every portal won't look the same. It'll be like a fresh feeling every time you go and find another portal. There's also some concept art of how they thought that or how it will look like inside, like after you go through these portal dungeons. Like here's the Temple of Gaia, which hopefully I'm saying that right. And they also have it says, along with its component parts, the Garden of Elements. So we'll show you guys an image of that as well. But yeah, this is something that what it could look like when you go through that portal. So this looks extremely good, and again, it gives you that crazy feeling, and the colors is something that they're doing really awesome. Also, there's things, of course, when when creating these games, you have these rules and principles of two things that kind of should work out, and sometimes things happen on mistake, and it actually turns out to be a positive. So let's say if you're making something, you're trying to get two biomes to fuse, or you're just making two biomes and end up fusing, and then it turns out to look good, but it was kind of like an accident. So they do kind of have things like that, where it's like moments where things that they wanted things to kind of go a certain way, but it kind of like surprised them and turned out to look quite different. They also discover that rivers that carve their way through mountains and dungeons that have a split in half by a ravine. Also, swampy terrain might creep up halfway up a mountain, which is also cool too. And it says the adventures that you have here will truly feel different. So these small touches like this will make it seem different. But on that last note, I'm gonna read off the little paragraph that they have there, because I feel like that paragraph is very important to end off this video, which it says, the world generation systems we've created, which Hytale created, will be fully customizable by content creators. You can tweak world gen rules or write your own. Through configuration files, you can build and share your own prefabs and dungeons, including instant portal, dungeons. Also, you can create and configure your own blocks environments, and even NPCs. Combining all these options together gives content creators the power to craft biomes, zones, and ultimately worlds of their own. And that is it for the blog post. I gotta admit, guys, this is awesome. This is a good blog post to read. Very exciting to read as well. And I definitely think that Hytale is going to be an awesome game to play. So let me know what you guys thought of all that. That could have been a lot of information to take in, but hopefully you have left today's video with a little bit more knowledge on what's going on with Hytale. I will also put the blog post down below in the description if you want to go over it yourself, take some time to read it and get a better understanding of it. But I've covered almost everything. But again, go read it for yourself, check it out, and let me know what you guys thought of it too, and if you're excited to play the game. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Remember to leave a like and share it. Also, feel free to subscribe for more, and if you are new to the channel, and if you want to stay up to date with more Hytale news and more. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!